Human trafficking, modern-day slavery. When you hear about it, what do you think? Forced labor, servitude, sexual exploitation. What if I told you that millions of dollars are exchanged hands every single year? And I'm not talking about the kind of money that would fit into a briefcase. No, this is big business, billion-dollar business. In today's episode, we're going to find out how one woman became the queen of human trafficking, smuggling almost 300 people across the ocean for $35,000 a head. This is the story of Sister Ping, the hunt for the queen of human trafficking. We start our story in January of 1999. Nearly 300 Fujian China natives are preparing to make their dreams come true. They have saved up enough money to pay some of the best smugglers in the business to get them to the land of opportunity, the United States. They will travel in the most luxurious conditions ever seen in human trafficking before. A massive Chinese cargo ship called the Golden Venture is being prepared for the journey. It has 5 floors, and each floor can fit around 100 people. The lower decks will be filled with supplies and life rafts in case of an emergency. Every person will pay between $25,000 and $35,000 US, a small price to pay for freedom, a new life, and new opportunities. The group will spend the next 4 months making their way to New York City. They will sail through South Korea, Japan, Mexico, and finally the United States. Once they arrive in the US, all the immigrants will be released except for 3 people. One of them will be taken to a hospital, another to jail, and the third will be killed. The leader of this smuggling ring is a notorious human trafficker named Sister Ping. She has been smuggling immigrants for over a decade and knows exactly what she's doing. Her plan is simple. She will load up the ship with as many people as possible, then set sail for the United States. Once they arrive, the immigrants will be dropped off in New York City, and Sister Ping will take the money and run. But things don't go according to plan. After traveling for months, the ship runs aground and crashes off the coast of North Carolina. Most of the people on board are asleep when the ship crashes, but that doesn't matter. They're trapped inside a metal box with no way out. Some of the immigrants try to escape through the windows, but they quickly realize that there aren't any. Others try to break down the doors, but they're no match for the strong metal. After the ship runs aground, Sister Ping panics. She knows that the Coast Guard is on its way and she needs to get away, so she orders the immigrants to jump into the ocean. In total, 10 people will die from drowning, while 289 immigrants will survive. The Coast Guard arrives and arrests everyone, including Sister Ping. Now here's where things get interesting. As soon as the Coast Guard takes over the ship, they find out that the immigrants weren't just carrying their belongings with them, they were also carrying drugs. In total, the immigrants were carrying over $16 million worth of drugs. This is a major bust for the Coast Guard, and they're eager to find out who was behind it. But Sister Ping isn't talking. She knows that if she opens her mouth, she could implicate herself and her entire organization. But the Coast Guard already knows who she is. They've been tracking her for months, and they have a lot of evidence against her. They bring in several witnesses who claim to have been smuggled by Sister Ping in the past. With all of this evidence, Sister Ping is arrested and sent to jail. But how much money did she make from this smuggling ring? You won't believe the numbers. At the height of her career, Sister Ping was raking in millions of dollars every single week. She was so successful that she was even featured in Forbes magazine. That's right. Forbes actually wrote an article about a human trafficker. The article revealed that Sister Ping had smuggled over 7,000 immigrants into the United States and that she was charging $35,000 per person. That's a total of over $247 million. But the most shocking fact from the article wasn't the amount of money she was making. It was the amount of money she was making per kilogram of drugs. According to Forbes, Sister Ping was making over $1 million per kilogram of drugs. That's right, she was making more money than drug dealers. So how did Sister Ping get started in the human trafficking game? Like many other human traffickers, Sister Ping started out as a low-level smuggler. She smuggled immigrants into the United States from China. But after a few years, she realized that she could make a lot more money smuggling drugs, so she switched her focus to drug trafficking. In the early days, her methods were pretty basic. She would carry drugs across the border in her luggage. But as she got more experienced, she started carrying larger amounts of drugs on bigger ships. Soon she was running a major drug trafficking ring, and her main customers were the Chinese triads. These are organized crime groups based in China. They control everything from gambling to prostitution to drug trafficking. But despite her success, Sister Ping was always on the run. The police were constantly closing in on her, and she knew that she couldn't keep up her current lifestyle forever. So she started planning her exit strategy. She wanted to get out of the drug trafficking game and start a new life. She had a plan to buy a farm in Canada and live out the rest of her days growing crops. But she knew that she couldn't just abandon her criminal network. If she did, her rivals would take over and she would lose everything she had worked for. So she came up with a brilliant plan. She would pretend to retire from the drug trafficking game and start a legitimate business. This way she could keep her fortune and protect her network. She invested in several businesses, including a casino and a nightclub, but her favorite investment was a restaurant. She opened the restaurant in Vancouver and it quickly became a popular spot for the city's elite. At the height of her career, Sister Ping was one of the most powerful women in the world. She had made a fortune from drug trafficking and her legitimate businesses were booming. She was respected by her rivals and feared by her enemies. But all good things must come to an end. In 1989, Sister Ping was arrested and sent to jail. She was sentenced to 7 years in prison, but she only served 3. While in jail, she befriended several other criminals and they shared intelligence on their competitors. She also learned a lot about the inner workings of the police force and the government. This information would later help her become even more successful in the trafficking game. When she was finally released from prison, she went back to her old ways. She started smuggling drugs and immigrants into the United States, and she was more successful than ever before. Now that she knew the tricks of the trade and had a vast network of informants, she was unstoppable. She was eventually caught again and arrested, but somehow she always managed to escape with her fortune intact. So how did Sister Ping get caught? Well, it all has to do with a little girl named Amy. Amy is the daughter of one of Sister Ping's victims. Her mother was smuggled into the United States and killed trying to escape. Amy grew up with a hatred for Sister Ping and vowed to get revenge. When Amy grew up, she became a police officer. She joined the FBI and worked her way up the ranks. All the while, she was searching for clues that would lead her to Sister Ping. Finally, after years of searching, she got her break. She found a witness who agreed to testify against Sister Ping. With the help of the witness, the FBI was able to build a solid case against Sister Ping. They arrested her and threw the book at her. She was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. And that's the story of Sister Ping, the hunt for the Queen of Human Trafficking. If you want to know more about human trafficking, check out these videos here. Thanks for watching.